Take a look at the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Oh, wait, I did have one correction.
Okay.
Your name was not listed as attending.
Beg your pardon?
Your name was not listed as attending.
Oh, who ran the meeting?
I don't know.
You?
Well, me this time. I would make sure your name was.
All right, well,
That correction.
okay, so we don't need to open that back up again?
Just a Scribner's. That's fine.
Okay, thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.
All right, claims in the amount of $268,832.63.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and
Why weren't
possible
there any
action
payroll
to...
amounts?
Pardon?
Why weren't there any payroll amounts?
What is typically in the payroll amounts are payments to our vendors for health insurance and things like that.
Oh,
It
okay.
was just a timing issue.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, discussion and possible action to approve the proposal from I&S Group, Inc. to provide preliminary design services for the 2027 Locust Street Reconstruction Project.
So this item, we solicited bids for the design, so preliminary design and public engagement for Locust Street, set to be reconstructed in 2027. We brought this to Public Works, we brought this to Plan Commission just to discuss this RFP we put out. And we received 7 proposals, which is great. So it's very competitive process reviewing them. We took a lot of time to really go through them and decide which one we thought we would recommend. And that came to be I&S Group, or kind of ISG. And we would take the funds out of the capital improvement plan, so we are already planning for this for 2025. And there are a few options, so the amount we're proposing for them is $48,980, and that's based on kind of picking and choosing some of the alternatives they've laid out in the proposal. So what I handed out to you guys was just a little more detail on those the price of the different optional tasks and how we got to that final number. And so just internally talking about the optional tasks, one of them being the online interactive map, we decided that we have in-house GIS services and we could potentially do an online interactive map as city staff if we feel like it's absolutely necessary as we get into kind of the public engagement for the street. So we were not going to go with that option. We talked about the 3D renderings, and we do feel like they are very cool to have, but is it absolutely necessary? At this phase, we felt like maybe we would go without that for now, and it's something we could always add later if we felt absolutely necessary to add the 3D renderings. They'll still be doing, typical sections and layouts, kind of showing what the design would look like. So just the 3D additional cost, we felt like we could just not approve that at this time. And then we did choose to do the value engineered traffic study versus a full-on traffic report for the downtown area. And this is, they felt like this would be a way we'd kind of go through the pros and cons from a traffic lens of the different alternatives. So we are actually able to deduct a good amount of money actually. And then the life cycle cost alternative, we decided that would be beneficial for the extra $1,000. So kind of with the base fee and the optional tasks, that got us to the $48,980. So any questions?
Anybody?
Could you go through the difference between the traffic study again and the memorandum?
Yeah, so the traffic study would go in quite a bit of detail on like getting all the traffic counts we actually chose 9 intersections kind of in our downtown core to get the circulation. So that's where they would put up the traffic cameras, get exact numbers, evaluate each intersection, and then with the kind of the lesser version, kind of their traffic experts would be able to, is what they said, kind of even be able to look at a one-way alternative just from a functional standpoint, not maybe knowing the exact numbers and turning movements. So they felt like they could still provide a good recommendation. They would still look at crash data, you know, they would do a safety analysis. It just wouldn't dive deep into the traffic counts themselves.
So is it more like the flow?
Yeah, more
Flow versus
yes.
just numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Motion?
What were the other proposals? How did they compare?
Yeah, so this one is actually the lowest. So we did, you know, we've actually felt like they had a very good proposal, and they also ended up being the lowest cost. So there was a range, if that's kind of what you were asking
Yeah.
for cost-wise, yeah.
Okay. All right, move to approve.
Second?
Motion and second to approve. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action to approve the purchase of 2 mowers from Tri-State Bobcat in the amount of $40,421.33.
Good evening, everyone. Mike Moraz, Director of Public Works. So in front of you tonight is just a issue sheet or agenda item to replace our 2 current 96-inch zero-turn mowers. We have allocated funds in the CIP to replace these mowers. They are, the 96-inch Toro mowers were originally purchased in 2018 and 2019. And by purchasing the mowers with the 96-inch deck, I put in the issue sheet that we've been able to save on seasonal staffing. We used to have 4 mowers do the entire city. With these types of mowers, we are able to do the entire city with 2 people. And so it's been a savings on the staff end for us to do it. But similarly to the sweeper that you had in front of you a couple weeks ago, there's only one company that makes this style of mower so far. There's not really anything in the market to compete against it. And so luckily, a local supplier out at Tri-State Bobcat off of the Exit 4 has these for us. And so we went ahead and had them get a quote for us. Now, 2 new mowers weren't in our budget, so they actually sourced a used mower with only 198 hours. Compare that to our current ones that have like 1,300 and 1,200, quite a substantial less. So bring it forward to get approval to purchase these 2 mowers and trade in our current units and use the funds out of the capital improvement plan.
As with the street sweeper I asked you last time, at what point do we fall behind on our service? And then when we have to purchase more mowers and
Yes.
hire more people to cut, have we had complaints on our parks?
That's a good question because there are seasons, and you know, especially in the springtime, right, when it's growing season, there are opportunities for us to fall behind. Having said that, we do have another 72-inch mower on hand that can help with some of the boulevards and right-of-ways, like on Carmichael. And if need be, we pull full-time staff off of a job just to get them caught up. But during like the normal, you know, July, August, September, 2 guys, no problems.
Something to keep on the back burner.
Yep. Yeah, thank you.
I'll move to approve.
A second.
Motion and second to approve. Any further discussion?
So what's the cutoff for trading them in then? About 1,100 to 1,300 hours or what?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's with any type of life cycle with a vehicle or plow truck or, lawn mowing piece of equipment. You're kind of running that balancing act where you're trying to get out ahead of the major maintenance issues that might occur, right? And we found like with mowers, that 6 to 8 year window is when we try to turn them just because they take a lot of abuse. They're out being used every single day from April to October. So kind of that, 6 to 8 year window is when we try to turn these pieces of equipment. So this would fall in line with that.
So you'll have these for this coming season?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. Anybody?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.